validation from others, especially from our loved ones, encourages us tremendously when we are on the right track, right? When we are on the wrong track and validation is not there, that's when the confusion comes. Oh, my father is against me all the time. He says no, no, no to everything. And your professors also might not agree. Your close friend circle also may not agree on certain decisions. So your dopamine level will also go down and say, oh no, to hell with all these opinions. Let me figure out myself. Now, yesterday we were talking about how energy is indestructible, but it changes the form. Heat into cold, heat into electricity, electricity into whatever form you like to have. When it is connected to air condition, brings cool air. When it's connected to a heater, brings hot air, and things like that. Now, when the energy, so-called emotional energy, stirred up by dopamine, it can manifest in many ways, depending upon my heart's condition. For example, if my preconditioning, if my upbringing, if my samskaras, if my previous impressions are such that I'm afraid of dog, and little howling of the dog or barking of the dog can scare the hell out of me and drop the dopamine level. Now, if I had the proper understanding that dogs are not such animals, and if you are a dog lover, the same response will not be there, but you will be so much elated, so much joyful. So, my conditioning of my heart changes the way this dopamine or serotonin or other hormones gets excreted in my system, right? When people are so much captivated when they see a beautiful girl, for example, and they can't control their hormones, what happens then? They take wrong steps. This control also is in your hands based on the training that you have received from family, friends, and environment. So it's all this training prepares us to respond in either positive way or the negative way. So validation, whenever our loved ones validates and say, yes, you are on the right track, of course. When your heart also agrees, your mind also agrees, then it's the most beautiful thing. You see, it is when we are doing wrong things and you want unhealthy validation from others, that's a wrong step. Now, when it comes to self-love, people misunderstand self-love versus selfishness. It is not selfishness to love your being. You see, the way many people ask this question of soul, is there a soul? Is there God? Whether you call it soul or jiva or so, Atman, it really doesn't matter. The fact is, there is some life force that keeps me going. It's with me since my birth, and it will continue to be. That entity is with me. I have to be grateful to that entity who is dwelling within me. I must love that entity. Without that entity, I cannot even ask any question. I cannot even hear. Imagine, Subham, tonight this life force decides and says, Subham, goodbye. I'm leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning, detaching itself from the body. Ram Ram ho jayega, see? રામ રામ થઈ જાય ને ભાઈ. તું તો રાજકોટનો છું એટલે તારા લાડવા બી થઈ જાય અને રામ રામ બી થઈ જાય. તો આવી વસ્તુને આપણે પ્રેમ કરવો અયોગ્ય નથી. એ જ વસ્તુ પ્રેમ કરવા જેવી છે. ઇન્સ્ટેડ ઓફ ધેટ વોટ વી ડુ, વી બ્રેક અવર હેડ્સ in wrong places. The God who gives me life, He is not in Dwarka. The entity that gives me life, it's not in Kashi or Makkah or Jerusalem. It's within me. It is through meditation that we experience the presence of that entity more and more. When we are on a right track for the evolution of that soul, when it understands that the embodied entity is also cooperating in my evolution, it will shower so much of peace. Whenever you meditate, that I'm meditating for evolution of my being, I'm looking after that entity. I love that entity who gives me life. It will shower more and more grace, more and more contentment. It will shower you so much of love within. Another way of seeing this is whenever we do wrong things, which is not evolutionary or evolution contributory to my soul. In fact, whatsoever I do is detrimental for my soul's progress. Then we lose peace of mind. We become so careless. We become irritable. And we become pauper in some way. I don't mean in materialistic world, but from inside. However materialistically we be successful, but you'll remain hollow inside because you did not cooperate with the soul's plan. Soul's plan unfolds, and we see that clearly when we meditate. So, I hope I was able to answer you clearly. If you still have confusion, ask us. Thank you so much.